searching for. So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel? This seems too good to be true. Are you real? Can you feel the love?
What is going on in Chicago? How has it been going out there?
It's okay. There aren't very many of us out there, so it's a big job for, a couple of people. I'm normally out by myself. Trashy goes out by himself a lot too. We try to coordinate it. But our schedules are different. But it's going well. And I heard you talking to Pearl Snappy, and I just want to clarify one thing that you said. We know now that the grand opening is happening on March 3rd, starting at noon. So on my community tab on my channel, there's a copy of the ticket that I got I have my first insider, my anonymous insider provided me. She got it at the desk in a different org. So she provided me with a ticket from my community tab, and it's in my community tab for that date. So it says reception at noon, speakers start talking at 2. And I also looked at the Chicago. I looked up the permit, which is still technically pending, but this is Chicago. So starting tomorrow, there are going to be rolling closings, which is what you're looking at right now. So it has, on my community tab, there's a map of where exactly this event is going to take place, which is on South Clark Street it's 650 South Clark in Chicago. And it's between Harrison and Polk. That whole block is going to be closed for 2 days, the 3rd and the 4th. So, and what you're looking at, those are the rolling closures, which start on the west side of the street, because that's where the building is. That's where the so-called ideal org is. And they're doing this rolling closing because this is a huge thoroughfare that goes right downtown in the center of Chicago. So they're not going to close it for the week. They start the closings tomorrow, though.
Interesting.
So it's on the city website as starting closings tomorrow. What you were looking at is from the City of Chicago website. So yeah, it's.
I see the ticket. I see the ticket that you're talking about. Let me bring that up. Okay, so this is what's on your community tab. They handed you one of these, or someone did?
Somebody who's in Scientology got it for me.
Wow.
Yeah, we looked everywhere for some official proof that this was happening on the 3rd. From being at the other location, the old location where they've been since 1974, and talking to their neighbors and talking to, some of the people that were newer in Scientology that would talk to us, we knew that they were moving. They told us they were moving. And the last thing we heard was that they would be gone by the end of February. So I knew it was right around the corner. And then just yesterday, I think, or the day before, I got the ticket.
Wow. I'll tell you, one of the reasons people have been so confused as to whether this thing is actually happening is there hasn't seemed to have been any real world preparations happening at the building. There's no evidence of a stage being built. There's no evidence of a bow being erected. There's no anything. So even though you verified through permitting and everything that it looks like this is happening, have any developments started to occur?
No, and it won't. See, Aaron, this is not like any other opening you've seen, because this is a very congested urban area. So they're huge sky rises that are right next to each other. There's no open space. And like I said, a big thoroughfare going right down the commercial area of Chicago. So there's no space for them to do anything, to build anything or do anything until they start these rolling shutdowns. So tomorrow, starting tomorrow, both the parking lane and the west side sidewalk will be closed. So that's when they'll start building. And then
I
eventually,
get
as
it.
the week goes on, the closing gets wider and wider and wider until they can finally build their stage. And it said in the permit, they're going to have a stage. They're going to have attendees, whatever that means. And that's about it. That's about as detailed as it got. You know, we have a lot of detail about the closings, where they are and when they are, but not much about what they're putting there.
That is interesting. As
Mm-hmm.
you start seeing the developments, you know, as you go out there and you start seeing the stage being set up and all this stuff, I would
Yeah.
love to be able to share some of that footage, whether it's just sharing highlights of your video clips
Yep.
or anything else. So if when you get that stuff, please feel free to shoot me a link and timestamps of where I can find stuff that I could be able to highlight to signal boost what you guys are doing out there.
Sure. I'm going down
Um,
tomorrow. I was there all day today talking to other commercial enterprises on the block just to see, you know, how they feel about this, about a 1 week rolling closure for their, you know, where they make their bread and butter. There's a ton of foot traffic in this area too, not just car traffic. There's a lot of foot traffic, and it's right next door to a college, Columbia College. So there's a lot of students in this area, and there are residences. A lot of people live here. So for them to shut this area down, that's why they're doing it so last minute, because everyone is really pissed off about the whole thing. They hate Scientology isn't even there yet, and they hate them already. So that's the kind of neighbors they are, you know?
so presently they are still in the old location. Am I correct?
They are.
I was under the impression that this past Saturday, so 2 days ago, they
Mm-hmm.
should have had some big event welcoming back the command team, the new command team, but you know, pushing people to join staff, raising money for the IAS. Did you guys see any evidence of something like that happening?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to say because I can't really tell who's who, you know? I mean, I know the faces that I've seen that are Sea Org members since I've been down there in the last month. And there were new faces, and there was a woman with a rolling suitcase that I've never seen before going into the Lakeview, the old location. And then there were people for the first time ever coming and going from the new building. We've never seen that before. So we did see that, but it was like there was nothing, no big deal, you know? It was just stragglers coming and going. My second to last live. So my last live talks about the grand opening, but the one before that was from Saturday, the day you're asking me about. And we were there for 6 hours or something. And we went to both locations. And there were 4 of us streaming, which has never happened before. It was like so exciting and fun for us. I was like, look at all these SPs. We felt so great. And we did see people coming and going in both places, but we didn't see like a big group of people coming with their suitcases or, you know, nothing like that.
Yeah. Okay. How have the police been? Have the Scientology called the police on you guys yet?
4 times. So total.
You're kidding.
No. So we've had the police called on us. The first time they were called, Trashy was by himself. That was before. And that is why it was that day that I made the decision I was going down there with him, because he was by himself. I have some background that could have been useful for him. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but I knew I could be useful if I was there for him with the police. And he was by himself with very little experience with the police. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, I mean, he's a really good kid. So that's the day I decided I was going, and I did. I went the next day. So the first day, the police talked to the woman we call Barbie, who seems to be the director of the Lakeview location. She is the one that drags everyone back into the building when they come out to talk to us. And she sticks her head out the door, and she watches both the streams and the cameras when we're there. And her desk is right in front, because I walked in one day and I was like, can I watch a movie? Because they have this sandwich sign out front that says, you know, curious, come in and watch a movie. So I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, and I had my camera like inconspicuously, you know, in front of me, but and they threw me out immediately. But so I got to see where her desk is and how many people are in there. And I just wanted to get a look at the layout. And so anyway, we call her Barbie. And every time the police came, she would come out and start talking like, you can't do this and you can do this and you can't do that. And we were just like, you know, we are citizen journalists. We are collecting information about a story. We are streaming in public property, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the police said, you know, they're right. And just don't, you know, they're telling us that upstairs, this is how we found out that all those Russian people with their kids were living upstairs in the Lakeview location, because she told the police while we were there on the live that there are people, these are residences up here. These people are doing the pure up downstairs. We don't want them filming residences. So the police said, oh, okay, then don't film the residences. And we said, okay. So now we know that there are people living up there in this absolute, like, everyone that watches my streams knows what a junk building this is and how awful those rooms are upstairs on the second floor. And there are kids living up there.
One might wonder if they're even legally supposed to be residences. Like, this is the kind of stuff that sometimes the police just, it's not their area of expertise. They may not know anything about it. Like, why are people living upstairs of a commercial? Like, is it zoned for that? Is that even allowed?
And it is zoned.
Are
it's mixed commercial and residential. So they can have residents there. But I mean, we were told by, I think initially we were told by the neighbors that it's all a bunch of Russians. They don't speak English. And then we saw them coming and going and talked to them, and they had their kids with them. And then we found in the trash bin, and Trashy kept going through the dumpster, and he found all of this coursework, children's coursework in the garbage. And we found out that particular dumpster was for the residences only. And the church dumpster was back in the alley. So we knew that there were children up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really concerning.
Yes, it is.
Hey, next time you see Trashy V12 BMW, can you give him or ask him to email me or tell him I want to do an interview with him as well? I just don't know how to reach him.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
If I can find his email on his channel, I'll shoot him an email. But just give him my cell number and my email address.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay,
I just
cool.
was texting with him right before we came on.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So do you guys want as many people to come out and stream with you guys as possible?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Okay.
I'm waiting for someone to come take my place so I can sit at home and do research. And, you know, I'll be the backup person. You know, I'm not really made for this. I'm a little over the hill, and and I have some kind of health issues like an over the hill person does. And yeah, I'm waiting for someone younger to come and take my place, please.
Fair enough. Well, there may only be about 16 Scientologists in the Chicago area, but we probably have many hundred in the SP Nation in the Chicago area, and all streamers welcome. Will help get new channels up and running with their subscriber threshold that they have to meet, and to enable the live streaming capability. And that's why I wanted to actually just start interviewing more of the people that are out there, so people really do understand. I'm going to do everything I can to help raise the profile of the streamers that are regularly going out to these different locations and cities all around the US and the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, instead of just telling people that's what I'm going to do, might as well just start actually doing it. And I realized,
I'm so glad. Congratulations. No, I'm so glad you're doing that, because it's when you're out there by yourself, you know, I'm not afraid of very many things, you know, I'm really not, because again, you get to be a certain age and you've got nothing to lose. It's like, the only thing I care about really is them poisoning my dog. That's my only fear. I have friends in my area that are really watching out for me to see if there are any strangers around and that kind of thing, because I've been getting some really weird messages on Proton on my official, YouTube email. So anyway, but yeah, no, I think it's great that you're talking to us. It's not fun to be there by yourself. It's a lot of fun to be there with other people.
Yes, it definitely is a lot of fun to be there with other people. I mean, that could not have been more evident than this weekend in Los Angeles outside of La Poubelle. We probably had 40 people there, and it was just an absolute blast. And I think it makes Scientology also much more nervous about trying to do anything to interfere with a group of streamers. The more the merrier,
Yes.
Safety in numbers, all sorts of benefits.
That's right.
So for anyone just joining, let me remind everyone you can find Shannon's channel at Chicago Scientology Audit. You can also find what does Trashy go by? Does he have a name he goes by?
He goes by Trash.
Really okay. You can find Trash at Trashy V12 BMW. Mm-hmm. And how about this newcomer? Do they have a name they use?
He just said Windy. He told us Windy City.
Okay. You can find Windy City at Windy City Thetan Watch, and hopefully many more streamers to come.
We have
let's see. Go ahead.
Sorry, Aaron.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention something. We have an issue here. There's a big Nation of Islam presence in Chicago. And I personally have an interest in discovering what exactly this connection is between Scientology and the Nation of Islam. And I've done some research in that area. And if you look on my community tab, if anyone else is interested, there are some videos and some other things that are pretty enlightening about that. But there will be, the problem with Chicago is that although there may only be 12 Scientologists, they're training auditors from the Nation of Islam here. And we have spoken to them. So it's not, there's a huge population here. And what we've heard is that the new people in the Nation of Islam are required to do Scientology training. Everyone. Yeah. So
yes, I know Louis Farrakhan told all of his members to become Dianetics auditors, which is a bit different than a Scientology auditor, but that's a conversation for another time.
Okay.
And I mean, at some point, I believe he even gave everyone an ultimatum that said, you have until this date to start your Dianetics auditor training, or you're not a member anymore.
Unbelievable. And we see them. We talk to them. They're the only ones that will talk to us.
Oh, they will actually engage with you?
Look at my channel. You'll see interviews with them. We had an interview with one that it was my first interview with a Scientologist that would speak with me. And he talked in depth about his involvement in Scientology and why he was there. He is an auditor. There's also things in my community page about his background that I discovered that are very interesting.
I've got to take a look at that.
So I'm sure this is a conversation for another day, but I do want to say that even though we may not have a lot of, I don't know, like official Scientology people here, but there are a lot of them in training from the Nation of Islam right now. And they hate it when you talk about that. They hate it.
Let's definitely talk about that more later. I'll go through the posts you're talking about and the videos that you're talking about, because this is a subject I've wanted to dig into more for a long time. I've just never really been able to find someone who could really have that conversation with me. So I'm going to check that out because I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What? Remind me, when does the first rolling closure start for the event setups?
Tomorrow. I'll be there.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Excellent.
I'll be live streaming. I didn't live stream today because I had to have private conversations with people. But tomorrow I'll be live streaming, so everybody will get to see if they're making progress or not.
Well, I'll tell you what, Shannon, I'll be back in Clearwater tomorrow, mid-afternoon. And when I get home, how about this? Whoever is out there with you tomorrow, like you and anyone else who's out there, I'll do a stream highlighting your streams.
Okay.
So if Trashy is out there, if Windy City gets out there, any newcomers want to get out there, It'll be a way for me to signal boost everyone who's out there tomorrow and each successive day of recording the setups. That'll be a great opportunity.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Just a few quick super chats here. Squirrel SPTV. Aaron, please read your 2 emails regarding the FBI phone calls. Okay, thank you, Squirrel SPTV. I will. My good friend Clearwater George, whose channel is surrounded by Scientology. Shannon, looking forward to helping you in Chi-Town. Yeah, George is actually from Chicago, so I didn't know George was. Yeah, he is. He is. I didn't know he was going to be going out there, but that's excellent news. That'll be a lot of fun. And Pearl Snappy says, tell Shannon I emailed her. I have resources.
Okay. Good. Good to know.
Fantastic. Well, hey, this has been a very fun chat. Thank you for doing it with me. I look forward to seeing all the stuff you have coming and the other guys and gals as well. I think what you guys are doing out there is excellent. And thank you for doing it. I mean, I appreciate it. I know you're not doing it for me, but I appreciate it.
I kind of am doing it for you because you were my original inspiration. So just many years ago, I read about Scientology and thought it was so goofy that when I first started reading it, I thought it was satire. And then many years later, and then I always had an interest in it. And then many years later, here comes Aaron Smith Levin, and I started watching you. And yeah, and then Surge. And so I am kind of doing it for you. No, I'm really doing it for you guys, you second and third gens.
Well, thank you. We definitely appreciate it. Believe me. For anyone who's just joining us, you can find Shannon's YouTube channel at Chicago Scientology Audit and check that out and the others as well, because there's a lot more to come. All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon. Thank you.